Here. Yep, should be working. Thank you everybody for coming across. If anyone's came across from Richard.
Nisha.
Nisha, thank you very much for
it's
coming.
Actually, Tanisha, but yeah.
He is just not written?
No, it is written and it's not silent. She's shortened her name. It's a nickname.
So that makes sense. So if anyone,
lovely woman. I don't agree with her on all things biblical, but
who do you?
She is anti-traditional and she does see things in the text that make sense in reality and says, well, that makes better sense. Good for her.
Hello, Melissa the Boomer, Dark Side of the Tune. Welcome. The Artie's here and me Ma's here and Cloud. Got a woofish from Amber. Always good to see you.
A what?
A woofish.
A woofish?
Like a woof,
what?
But sort of a half woof because they're probably tagged. Woof, but you know when you do something ish.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah.
An attempt at a woof because it's late and they're tired.
Woof.
Ish.
I missed it, but I don't care.
Oh no! Don't apologize for the long name, Melissa. If the music channel works, if the name works, that's cool. Mine used to be fucking long ass as well. But yeah, Richard, you had a good conversation with Tanisha then, yeah?
Yes, she's a lovely woman. She really is, and I think she's horribly bright, as a matter of fact.
Skinny? Was it the skinny? I've never seen.
It's skinny.
It's
skinny. I found on someone else's channel. And sometimes he graces me with his presence, which is nice. He's an agnostic atheist. That is, he feels that there's not enough information to make a decision about such things. I gotta respect that.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
Mathematics swine was too wordy, says Artie. So, we will just jump straight in if I...
Yes. It's in your hand, sir.
Yeah, the pointer, the cursor.
Oh, the cursor.
The cursor. The cursor.
Cursor. Aye.
You see that, Richard? No, you can't. Not yet.
I'm sure you'll make it where I can. Indeed, I do.
Perfect. So,
perfect.
Perfect. Pork. I was thinking of ripping off TikTok, because I'm working on the website and I'm doing the forum now, so I'm going to call it TikTok, instead of TikTok,
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Hello, Maya. Hello, Assembly of God. Just in time to hear Richard's wonderful voice.
Yeah. My voice is so average American. I should have been telling the weather or something. Anyway, if you like it, I'm happy for you. And prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Full stop. Oh my gosh.
That's such an important line, yeah? We're going to get some
Well,
context.
there's no unimportant line in my opinion. Some of them they're repetitive and you can go, oh, we already talked about this.
Oh, yes, the place prepared for God. And who did you believe the woman was?
Oh, that's Mary.
Well, was it not the earth or...
No, it has a topic unnecessary, I believe, topic change, because now you're talking about an actual woman vaginally spitting out a human.
Richard, Assembly of God would like to know...
Yes, amongst many other things. I'm a heretic. Ask any Christian who knows me, they'll call me a heretic. It's fine with me. I don't care.
What have you been talking about all week, Richard? Maya's mentioning.
You'll have to refresh my memory. Maya, I'm sorry. I've been on a lot of people's shows and stuff, including E.A. Dawa, which is also Issa Dawa.
Oh yeah, well not
and and also John. I'm not going to say his name well. Starts with a G. He's a Jewish guy. And I mean, I've been making some rounds because my employer decided that I need to cut back my hours. I have more free time, which is fine with me. I'm not hurting at all. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm fine. But I've had more free time, so I've been doing more of this.
Oh, that's good.
Wild Heart. I've been all over Wild Heart.
Channel.
Not
channel.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. If you say something like that and people don't make fun of it, they miss their opportunity. I just said I was all over Wild Heart. So I don't know what that involves, like maybe some Vaseline or chicken oil. I don't know.
I think he uses cooking oil. He does his hair with cooking
oil.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay. So
you're still doing
you know, I prefer peanut oil because it tastes better.
Are you still gonna have to do the weave?
The weave vanish. That's coming up in a couple weeks. I'm going to disappear for about a month.
Yeah, so it's still a couple of weeks away. We still have your
Yeah. Well, I have to hang 3 doors and do the baseboard trim, and that's the last of the work in the house that I've remodeled.
I literally
almost single-handedly.
It's
almost completely by myself. Beck helped with a lot of painting, but other than that, I just did it all myself.
It's now officially become fucking tool time.
Right on.
Oh, that chat is so small.
Does pizza fly fast over the West? I love that one. Yes, there are standards for communication and context necessary for that communication, and that's a lovely point. And it's exactly what I'm attesting to here, that if you don't have a continuous context to understand the Bible with, which I don't know of another Christian that does, then you can't possibly understand it. You're just kind of making stuff up. So on context, the word heaven there in 8 is appropriately, almost shockingly, they translate it correctly, lowercase heaven, meaning the sky. Okay, so there's a war in the heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. That is, demons are called, they're a kind of angel, just not the nice kind, right? And they prevailed not. They lost the war. They got their butts handed to them, right? Neither was there a place found any more for them in heaven, the sky, i.e. outer space. Okay?
Okay.
So near outer space, something like that.
And
9.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Right, which doesn't mean underground at all. Let that idea go. He came from the sky, and now he's stuck on the planet, which is why he knows his time is short, because that just happened. That's coming up. Okay. Now, I'd like to point out that this is Jesus speaking, calling Satan old. Think about that for a minute.
Hold on now, right? Where it says in 10, and I heard a loud voice say,
this is Jesus narrating the whole thing to John.
yes, this is a previous Jesus.
Yeah, a previous Jesus, i.e. the Father, narrating the whole thing, and the Father and or the last Jesus calls Satan old. What does that mean if the God calls something else old?
That old serpent, you know, the way that's, even saying that, man, right? That sounded like a phrase more so than implication of old.
Yeah, but what you just did was a presentism fallacy, bringing this writing into middle English.
Yes, no, but I'm just stating that's, yeah, I can see where you're going. As soon as I said it, you know yourself, I can take into context that. But ye old days of yore is how I read that, right?
Right, but yeah, but you can't do that.
Yeah, no, I understand
that
that's
makes
wrong.
sense in the ancient Near East.
Yeah.
What's that?
I understand that that's wrong context. Yes. So I get that.
Okay.
But yes, I see that as Father, God, the previous Jesus from the last earth is calling him old.
Right.
Your context.
So those that would maintain that the Father created all things, including Satan, where here it's at least it's at least implicit and it's at least plausible to say that the Father, who is God to Jesus, the new Jesus, is saying this thing is old. That means older than him. So Christians, think about that, please.
Oh, well, hold on now. Just because you're calling something old doesn't necessarily mean.
What do you call old that's younger than you?
Oh, but I would call something older that's the same age as me.
Only if you think of yourself as old. Are you old? I don't know.
No, but the point still stands.
But are you doing that in like a Middle English carryover as an expression from
No,
your
I'm just saying that I would consider myself, you know, of a certain age, and I would.
Sure you are.
Yeah, and you would be. Excuse me, but I'm just saying that because he's calling him old does not necessarily mean that he's younger. He could also be the same age.
Fair enough. I did say it's implicit, not direct.
That's all I was fighting for.
No, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. You're right. You can read it that way.
Assembly of God thought I was a Christian for some reason. I'll take
What?
that as a compliment, man. All right, because it means that I hopefully think that means that I stick up for and I'm asshole to everybody. You know.
Just the fact that you let me do this show with you shows that.
I enjoy doing this show with you. This is selfish.
Like, wow, you let me talk to you.
I don't remember any of this revelations. I just like to chill with you. Nerdy, by the way, congratulations, Nerdy. I've been looking at your channel, man, now. Absolutely booming. 10,000 videos or 10,000 views on your, I think it's 3 videos ago. Well done, Nerdy. You know, you've got skills, man. If anybody wants to know anything about AI diffusion and AI artwork and stuff like that, if you've seen the intro that's from the start of this show just before we were starting, that's from machine learning and doing stuff like that. So Nerdy was the one that helped me come up with stuff, and I didn't technically do that one, but you know, definitely big shout out for Nerdy. If you're into any sort of AI or machine learning or anything like that, check out the man's channel. Fucking booming. Absolutely booming.
Which deceiveth the whole world. Now that doesn't say parts of the world. It doesn't say everyone but the Christians. It says deceives the whole world. That would include the Christians.
Okay, right. Would you agree with me that I could make a statement to you and say...
Yeah, but that means you cleaned every bit of your house.
When I said to you I cleaned the whole house, did I get right down underneath and clean underneath the toilet?
That's what you just said, yeah.
Oh, but you don't mean that when you say it.
I don't know if you're describing a 3-month process or a 1-day process.
What'd you do yesterday? Oh, I cleaned the whole house.
That means that yesterday you finished off a process and now the house is clean.
Yes, but the point I'm making is by stating I cleaned the whole house, not necessarily meaning that I get...
Unless you had 29 other people, you know, like come over and help. Then you could do it in 1 day, maybe.
There you go. Artie's making another one. If I ate the whole thing, did I chase the crumbs?
It's a good point. So what's the point in saying that?
Point in saying that is when the writing says he deceives the whole world, includes the Christians, because it's the entirety of everything. I'm just saying, phrase the whole world does not always mean.
Right. It means generally and overall, if that's your point. There can be exceptions. For instance, if I say something like, I'm thoroughly convinced that I am an exception and I do read the text properly. Well, I'm claiming to be exceptional, right? Mm-hmm. So when I say something like that, I'm saying I'm one of the crumbs on the floor.
More than a crumb. You're more of a...
Oh, thank you. Oh,
something the dog would get a snack. A mouse would get a crumb. You know, you're good enough for a dog.
Oh, thanks, man. That was weird.
I don't know where I was going with it. Therefore, rejoice. Yay. Right.
So yeah, I agree. There are exceptions because, like, like you could be part of a really, really large community and not hold something that they hold, and you happen to be right. But you're still part of that community. So it's speaking of the whole planet. And what I'm saying by saying that includes Christians is a really big chunk of the planet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In fact, the Abrahamic religions, which is probably should be included in all of that statement as well. I mean, that's a good sized chunk of folks. You couldn't have them exceptional,
Okay.
and still make a statement like the whole world.
I want to ask you a question now. We watched. Is my audio okay, people? I chopped and changed with the compression a wee bit, so I should not be cutting out as much.
Actually, it does sound significantly better.
But it makes
Even when you back away, you just get quieter instead of silent.
I've literally done nothing to my sound. All in your head, Richard.
Oh, well, then I have a confirmation bias. Go ahead, though.
There you are, confirmation bias, and I have lost.
I don't know. Let me distract you again by talking more about it.
Yeah, no, gone.
Okay, we were doing crumbs on the floor, the people as the whole, Christians and Judaic is a big chunk.
Yes, which is why I didn't mention something in the chat, as people are saying 1%.
Oh, yeah.
I feel that it wasn't the point I was going to make.
That wasn't the thing, though.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Right. Where are we at? 10. And I
10.
heard oh yes, the compression, that's what I was talking about. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night.
Right. Okay, so if it's true that God can't accept a lie, or the Father can't accept a lie, but it's also true that the great dragon, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, is an accuser of man. And these accusations are not true. But he's still effective as an accuser. I know of only one being who would accept lies and think horrible things because of lies. And that being is humans, human beings. We are being lied to about ourselves and those we love. And I can cite real world examples of it by Satan, the demonic, giving us horrible things to think about each other and ourselves. For instance, you put a pretty girl on your arm and you take her out to dinner. And the first thing you think, even though you want to have a great time and a wonderful evening with this person, that you're hopeful will turn into some kind of serious relationship. But the first thing you think is, she's looking at that other dude. I'm going to be boring. I'm dressed stupid, like I'm retarded or something. Mm-hmm. And she's going to hate everything that I think and do and say. Probably not, actually, because she wants to have a good time too.
Yeah.
She does. But she's going to have stupid thoughts like that too. Oh, I look fat in this. These heels don't really, and they're uncomfortable. And he's going to notice my toenail paint is scratched. Like, oh my God, can we give ourselves a break here? So we believe
Richard's in defeat, ladies. Richard's in defeat. Get that fucking toenails.
Toenail paint, yeah. Better get it right. Scratch free, no chips. I don't care. Yeah, I don't think guys actually care about that stuff. I think women think guys care about that stuff. So it's all lies trying to ruin our lives. And the thing most attacked, in my opinion, love. And the possibility of future love is the most attacked thing, which makes me want to vomit, because love is so beautiful.
Right. Now, in what way would you feel that love is the most attacked thing? Now, would you use the word attack as in it's the most maybe what do you mean by that? Love?
By the accuser. The accuser is attacking love and the possibility of future love more than anything else. More than what you think about your kid or your kid thinks about you, more than your academic accomplishments or lack thereof.
So what you're saying is that the devil, the devil, the accuser, the deceiver, is more than anything trying to put into us the idea.
Well, no, that one too, but more love between each other, because actually we are God.
You're conflicting, and I wouldn't say you're conflicting now. I know you're trying to make a point. We are of the same in your belief, under the same ethics and all the rest of it. But the only person that can,
As the Father and
yes,
Adam.
but God, right? When you're saying we are God, you also said God's not a physical person. Dang that
Right,
fade out.
it's a
Is
set
it
of
working, nerdy?
commandments.
Is it working? But God's a group of ideas, right? And the only person who can
Yeah.
be the Father is a previous Jesus. So when you make the statement,
Right.
we are all gods, you also say that God is a group of ideas, and you say that the Father is an ex-Jesus. So we
Right.
can't all be gods.
No, yes, you can. As soon as you value that system and start following it, you become God. So you have every potential of being God in the future. You will be God in the future.
Right, so you become a group of ideas. No, you can accept God and be a personification of that, but you cannot be God.
That's a better way to say it, sure.
Yes, makes more sense that way. That when you become that, you become a personification of the group of ideas, but you cannot become God yourself.
Well, that makes you God.
No.
You're not the set of ideals. You're the living embodiment of God. You're the physical thing that acts on the ideals and affects reality. Yeah, that's
literally what the word
fine,
personification means, is it not?
Yes. I.e., I agree with you. But to be technically correct, that's what it means by God. When it talks about an actor on reality, calling it God, that's what it means. It doesn't mean that personage became a set of ideals. It doesn't mean that.
Okay, right. I understand that. But if you said in one statement last week, say, right, God is a group of ideas, and then the week before that you made a statement that the only person that can become the Father that people would understand as God is if you were an ex-Jesus, and then you make a statement that everybody can become God. If people didn't have that chance to listen to you, chat with you, and ask you this direct question, you would be coming across as contradictory.
Oh, yes, I would.
So just to give you a wee bit of a helping hand when you're communicating, use the word personification of God.
I should.
Really should. Just as a wee helper.
I should.
Just as a wee helper.
But I tell you now that you are gods, but you'll die like men.
See, now you're
so
just
the last
now you're just confusing people, right? Now you're just confusing.
It's not confusing, but that's what God means. It's not okay. Like being a U.S. citizen requires that you follow the Constitution, right? But it doesn't mean you become the Constitution. You're not. No person is the Constitution of the United States.
Yes, I understand.
But the people are the United States. That's how it's using the word God there.
Want to know if you're a Revelation apologist? Ever so slightly to a touch that Revelations would be very important. In the context of this show, we've been doing it for about 4 years. We've done it across lots of different books, and not just Christianity. We did the Book of Gilgamesh, Epic of Gilgamesh, and done lots of things, but I do think that Revelations is particularly important to Rich.
It's a good summary of the point of all the world's religions. Now, the epic of Gilgamesh is another good summary. The epic of Ramayana is another good summary, and I put them all on equal. That they're all telling the same thing
under your belief system.
But I'm an American who speaks English in a mainly Christian society, so we're doing this one.
Nerdy just wants for some asking for some clarification. So in the sense of what you're using the word God now, it's like a word path in that it's saying something that you can follow but not generally become. I added the word generally.
Yes, and the confusion is colloquially to those people, and at that time when this is written down, when you perfectly represent a thing, a set of ideals, you are that set of ideals. That's how they say it. Now, they don't mean literally you become a set of ideals.
Yeah, they just don't know the word personification.
They just should have used the word personification, but they didn't.
You had to pause and we're like, personification. Right, moving on then. So the father asked Jesus from Planet 22. We're going to have to come up with names for these bios.
Paul.
We're going to call the previous Jesus Paul.
Paul. That's why his letter is so different, and how he's an apostle but never met the last Jesus. That's because he's the father.
Okay, right. I don't know. Should we delve into that? Audience, give me a 2
Maybe
if you
on
want
a
to.
different show.
Give me a 2 if you want to ask more questions on that. Well, it is alien overlords.
Yes, of course.
Very high pitched though. Yes, of course. Lovely.
That's fine with me.
So you are under the belief system that the Paul/Saul route to Damascus guy is in a different context of using the word God.
Yeah, he becomes a Jesus, ascends, and becomes the father and the author of this Bible for this earth. Which is why he argues with the apostles. He says, you got it wrong, you got it wrong, you got it wrong. It's not about works, it's about grace. You don't need your dick cut off. Just do the right thing, try to follow it. But of course, he's speaking to his son.
And of course,
Jesus,
and of course,
directly.
Okay, yeah, and of course, the Pauline Church is the one that survived, so we can all say the one that's became more predominant. So we can say yes, that is the correct one because it won. So that statement you're making
it's not more predominant. That's not true.
I would say predominant's a bad word. I'd say a lot of
it's not even 50% of Christians are Pauline. Not even close. It's more like maybe 15, 20, 25%. I mean, it's actually almost kind of fringe.
So the Christian church you wouldn't think is based on the Pauline beliefs.
No.
He slammed it down.
Like, for instance, I'll give you for instance. How small are the universalists who say that everybody goes to heaven eventually? How small of a Christian sect is that? Because that's a strictly Pauline idea.
Okay, right. So now you're making a different statement. You're saying, and when I say Pauline, I don't mean that they have to adhere to everything he said. Most of the Christian church now,
what they're doing.
Most of the Christian church now, as you just said, has been the rules and the regulations and this, that, and the other was set down by Paul.
Yeah, there's some of that in there, even a good-sized chunk of it, sure.
Yeah, good-sized chunk of it has been set down by Paul. So right. It is the one that
there's a lot of Christians that don't believe in works, but believe in grace, for instance.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking apologist. I haven't been to this, that, and the other. General General passing.
Sure, why not?
Christian church would be known as the Pauline. Very influenced by Paul. I am comfortable. Yeah. I am comfortable in making the statement that the Christian church is heavily influenced by Paul.
Yes, but they ignore parts of it and have a partial message, so they don't consider it a total correction, but they consider it like, oh, you better think about this too.
So you're telling me,
no.
So you're telling
Paul's
me
a correction to the Christians to tell them stop thinking about that shit that way.
Fuck's sake, my mic is still low, right? Is it low or am I cutting out? I need a new mic. Poor Granny, are you listening? Either a lens for the camera or a new mic. That Christmas presents, one or the other. It's under my limit. She gives me a limit for Christmas. I know I'm 40, but I've got a limit, you know. I'll happily take a second-hand Blue Yeti. Anybody want to buy me a Blue Yeti?
Okay.
Right, I've whacked up my gain. Oh, fuck me, my gain. No, that's bound to be too loud. I'm bouncing into the red now. Okay, how's that now, folk? That should be okay.
I didn't fall for my own bias this time. It sounds exactly the same to me.
Oh, sometimes it just fades out. You see, right? You just talk away, Richard. Read your frickin' revelations and I'll try and...
Peace and respect, flow state, and I don't know that I did say hello to Clout. I can't recall if I did or not. Sorry. And also Doc Fearsome. Peace and respect, Jewell. Okay. Yeah, moving on then. 10. I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and kingdom of our God and power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And we went over the accusations. But I didn't really go over, hey, this is it. Okay? So if at any point before this in the book of Revelation you thought this is not the end of it all, it's being announced here. This is it. This is the final act of the play. You don't get an act after this. This is the high point. This is the, what do they call that? Never
Climax.
mind. That's a good one. That works.
Right.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. That's really interesting. Okay, so this is again the truth coming from the Lamb in the form of testimony, not physical battle, not talking about that. And they weren't worried about what happened to them physically.
Because it says the death. The fact that it says lives unto death, doesn't say unto death and says the death.
Yeah.
So I would say from just the wording of that, but let's not perform that fallacy of English grammar.
Sure.
Word the actually used, Greek.
You are. That must be a lot of experience, or maybe some intuition, or maybe some prayer on your part. The death is a pat phrase here. It doesn't mean your body quits working.
Yes. I don't get that. I know you are fucking very informative going, that word's not supposed to be there, that word's not supposed to be there, that word doesn't exist. That's all on you for me to ask that question.
I bet if we look it up, it'll say, like the most confirmed, or most original text is going to say the death. Like it'll include the word the as a definite article. I bet.
Right, but no, the death is one, right. It says here the death, and you're saying it's original. Particular...
No, I'm saying it's a pat phrase that there'd be two words, but neither one of them were interjected for the King James. Those are both actual ideas from the most original text.
The does exist in Greek.
Sure, there is the definite article in Greek.
So the word the.
Yeah.
They're in the Greek.
I'll bet it will. I haven't looked it up, but I'll bet it will be.
I know. So I'm nearly sure sometimes you've mentioned they've added.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Just
well,
it's
grammar. A different language, and you have to put stuff in, and they're not purposefully being misleading, but because of their presuppositions from traditional Christian, when it was spoken word, they have these ideas, and when they translate it, they've stuck those ideas in by accident.
Right. Well, the point I'm saying is the point I'm trying to get to. The fact that it says the death, then that particular death must mean something particular rather than a physical death, and I'm trying to, in a roundabout nice way, let you tell me what this particular death in that word in the Greek means. So what that word in Greek means...
Repentance. It means repentance. The phrase the death means a person repented. That is, they changed their mind, they turned around. Like the thing that guides you, your head, your face, turns you. So you had a change of idea, a metanoia. So this is a pat phrase talking about the death that a person can experience.
So it's
not the death you don't experience.
Okay, so if I could use it in a metaphorical sense, it was death of our previous lives and are reborn into a spiritual. Not a spiritual death, it's the opposite. Is that what you're trying to say?
Right. Like you're born dead. You're born not believing this stuff. You're born not understanding this stuff. And then it's arguable whether or not it's even a help to go to a religion and study it. It might not even be a help. But if you got heaven parked in the sky and you meet angels and you just saw a literal Star Wars and you see like spaceships falling down from the sky. Well, holy crap, something should dawn on you that this is like real.
Yeah, we're not going to deny our senses.
Right.
Would you deny? Yes, it was Glass. Has anyone seen the movie Glass, which is part of the trilogy of Unbreakable, Split, and Glass?
Oh, I didn't know that existed. That sounds amazing.
Right. Well, you've
Mr.
got
Glass.
You've got Unbreakable, right? Which is Bruce Willis, and everybody knows about Unbreakable. And you've got Mr. Glass as the bad guy in it. Then you have Split, which is, I can't remember the actor, but he goes through multiple personalities, and one of them is called the Beast, and it's superhuman strong, and it's a bad guy. And in Glass, in the third one, they've all been, got together in a psychiatric, and the woman's trying to tell them that they're all crazy. But there was one point in it where he was trying to say to Bruce Willis, no, it's not an open room, Gertz. It's just us, me and Richard. She was trying to convince Bruce Willis that this was all in his mind, right? He was, I wouldn't say maybe starting to believe it, but he was leaning that direction. And then Mr. Glass rolls up on his wheelchair and does his wee breathe. Says to Bruce Willis, he was like, they can explain away everything with science, but at the end of the day, these extraordinary things still.
Yes, they do.
I thought it was a very poignant phrase because, what have we experienced? That's the stream idea. What have we experienced that is extraordinary that could be possibly explained away? What an atheist, what an agnostic, with someone who's a gen. We don't talk about that because I'm an atheist and I don't believe. I don't have these thoughts. I don't ever worry.
Yeah. I think people who say that, who assert things like that, are just kidding themselves. We've all seen things and went, wait a minute.
UFO above Belfast 3 nights ago. Guy got it in video. All over Twitter. They're here. I actually tagged you. I was like, they're here, Richard.
Well, I don't know if it's our crew or not. There can be other crews, but we'll find out eventually, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a fact of reality that if you design a maze for rats, doesn't matter what you design, any kind of a maze for rats, right? And you identify a rat by its species and family and write down to exactly what rat that is, whatever those terms are. I don't know them. And you take some of that specific kind of rat, and you run them through the maze. Okay? Not only will the individual rat learn over time how to work this maze, you can take that rat and keep it in your lab, send the maze overseas to, say, England or China or whatever, right? And they can take the same exact kind of rat, and it will pick up in time where the other rats left off. Like it already learned it.
I think there is an interjection of something there.
There's something going on there.
No, there's an interjection in that study or that what I've read.
Well, at the end of the day, you can explain it all away with science, but the truth of the matter is these things happen.
Yeah, well, to me, if I learned something and then you took a chunk of my brain and wired it into your brain and then you already knew it, I wouldn't say that that's extraordinary. I would say science, right?
I'd say science is going to explain all this eventually.
Yes, I know that, but the point is I'm looking for something that we can't explain. That's what I'm looking someone to be honest about. Something that science has a possibility for it, or science has a explanation for it, You can't prove it. And I know you can't prove it because you've experienced it and we have to rep.
Well, how about this? Parts of the brain, the hypothalamus, thalamus, and pineal gland make suggestions when they have no memory.
Oh, yeah. Well,
how about that?
No, well, we know that.
No. Not only is our memory fake, so to speak, and we're remembering our last review of that memory. It's worse than that. something that has no ability of language makes suggestions to the rest of your brain. It literally can't learn a language.
Your brain already decides what you're doing before you're aware of what you're doing.
Well, that's part of why.
That's medical science. What I'm looking for is something extraordinary, you know?
But nothing's extraordinary. It's all completely normal. We just don't have the scientific explanation for it yet. That's all. And nothing's extraordinary.
That's my point, and I think you're being facetious on it.
Probably.
What I mean is, if I go to the hospital,
can't be facetious.
And the hospital, and my mum's been cured of cancer.
Okay. Yeah.
Pure science could eventually explain that away. Moment, that's damn extraordinary.
Okay, like the placebo effect.
I don't know what it could be, but that in the particular thing, if a particular family member of mine cured of cancer overnight,
sure,
seen the Green Mile. If you went to bed and your wife was like that, and they woke up,
well, I have arches.
You know, up and your wife was like that. That's a miracle. You know, that's an extraordinary event. Anyone ever had an intervention where they've known, not Richard, this isn't aimed at you, known something that there's no way that they could possibly know it, you know?
And while they're writing that down, I was born flat-footed. I've been flat-footed all my life. Everybody knew I was flat-footed. Military record says I was flat-footed. Age 51, I grew arches. I now have lovely, comfortable feet that I really enjoy and are easy to walk on. And it took me a good 6 months to stop overthinking it and just walk on your feet. And I had to overanalyze it and think about, well, how should I walk now? Because my feet are different.
Would you be open to the possibility of the fact and that shoes and particular boots were designed to do what they needed to do? And to support that, most shoes come with an arch. So I can see over time, like, you have lovely.
This is what I wear on my feet. They have no arch in them.
They start off white.
No, these are supposed to be gray blue. But yeah, this is my sandals that I wear. I don't even wear arch supports. I never have. For one thing, if you're flat-footed enough, and I was really flat-footed, arch supports hurt.
Yes, this is the point I'm making. This is the exact point I'm making, that over time, 50 years of progressively getting better and better shoes that...
No, I didn't get better and better shoes. I avoided arches in shoes because they hurt.
Magic.
Well, it's not magic. You could say, I could say something reasonable like I was genetically predispositioned to not express arches until I got to midlife. You could say something like that. That's fine.
But my idea of you gradually...
Well, that's fine, except it just didn't happen. I never I tried for a while when I was in the Army to put, those boot liners in that have an arch in them. I tried that for a couple months, gave up on it. It's just too damn uncomfortable. And being flat-footed didn't hurt me. It was fine.
Oh, I'm just looking at something. Miracles, Doc Fearsome has said, miracles by definition cannot happen. Cannot exist.
Yeah, I agree.
What's the definition of a miracle?
A Christian definition of a miracle is something that at least temporary. Let me give it. At least temporarily defeats physics.
Extraordinary event manifesting divine intervention in human affairs. That's the definition.
Right. Yeah, it's definitionally supernatural, which means it doesn't happen.
Right. Well, okay, but that's an instant dismissal of the supernatural.
I think there's things we haven't explained because we haven't had enough time, but I don't think there's such thing as something supernatural. That's impossible. It's just undiscovered. That's all.
Yes, but you're saying supernatural. You're not saying miracle.
Miracles are definitionally supernatural. I agree with Nerdy. Or was it Doc Fearsome? Who was it? Miracles. Doc
Hello,
Fearsome.
Sam.
Okay.
Hello, Sam. Welcome, Sam.
It's just naturally occurring stuff that we don't have the explanation for. Look, I mean, hot rocks in the sun were once magical. Thunder and lightning were once magical.
Oh yeah, I'm not defining. You know.
We still have things like lightning that we consider to be magical looking, and it's not. It's just we haven't explained it yet.
Right, where are we? Verse 13.
Aye. And when the dragon saw that he was, oh, here it is, cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman, which brought forth the man child. All right. Continuing the idea, because that's not the completion. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness. That's a very important word right there. Into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times and half a time. There's your 3.5 years thing again. From the face of the serpent. So she's kept. I'm sorry, not 3.5 years.
It's 2.5.
Well, you could say it's 2.5.
Well, if you're using time, you know, if you're using the word time as
right, unless it means decades.
Okay, well, you used it as 3 because I think you seen times 3 times, so you said
you could multiply it. You could.
We could quadruple it. We could say time means 1,000,000 years. I was just using your reference point of when you. Don't matter.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that, and this is the part where, oh wait, I have to, could you scroll up a little bit or down or however you call that so I can see 17 for the completion of the idea. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood, not waters, water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened up her mouth, her the earth again, female planet, and swallowed up. And this is why I say it's 2 different beings, because the previous female being, the earth, is now helping the specific woman, which can't be the same being. Opened her mouth, swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast in her mouth, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. End of idea.
Right. Now, it's very poignant then when you were making your point. How that it openly says earth. It has to be something different.
Right.
Changed definition. It's changed who the woman is in the middle.
It's 2 different women, right?
Yes, and it's changed, and your way of telling us that it's changed from earth to mean Mary is the fact that it threw the word in earth.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty hard to deny that word's there.
Oh yeah, it's pretty hard to deny that word's there. Why can I not say that it meant how do we
I guess you're welcome to say that.
I'm just saying the only reason that we know that the word woman has now changed from earth is because they're explicitly using the word earth. Well, if they're going to use the word earth, why didn't they use it before? That's the point I'm trying to make.
Because the larger context matters, and you shouldn't jump to conclusions early. And that's part of.
You jumped to a conclusion early. You jumped to a conclusion early. That
what conclusion did I jump to early? I misspoke, if that's what you mean. Well, I misspoke because I was referring to other stuff from the text, and then I jumped the gun a little bit.
Hold on. I need to get rid of 69 mega.
I admit I'm a human.
69 mega. Looks like we found a girl for you, Richard. I'm talking 5,000 years old. Ginger hair, 2 kids, been around
Hottie.
for a while.
That's my kind of woman right there, bro. Yeah. Okay, so Artemis Brain Sample writes Qubit. Why not? Yes, this is speaking about Mary who gets killed. This is why she's at the sepulcher when Jesus is dead. Because she's a little dead right then too.
What I'm trying to point out is we are taking
Right, sure, of course. No, you don't. You didn't have to till you get here, and then you have to go, well, okay, that's context.
Oakley dokley.
I guess I'm missing the point, probably, because you're acting like I'm not responding to you.
No. I'm not acting like that. No. I just don't think that we're going to get anywhere. The point I'm saying is you used woman equals earth at the start of
or when it said woman, that equals earth, yeah.
right, and now woman equals Mary. And it didn't say anywhere in it. It was a topic change, and it's very close at hand, so that someone reading it could take it as meaning the same. It's not chapter 1 it said woman, chapter 7 it said woman. Huge big difference. It's the same verse, and in that one story it changed. And our reasoning for understanding that it changed is just you. Nothing in the text, unless we take it the way you read it, to say that.
Right. But I am cheating that I have the whole dang thing memorized. So when I get to the woman ready to give birth and she's got the stars around her head, I already know that it's talking about the planet, not a person. And I can't prove that until we get right here where it says the earth helped the woman. So they're two separate things.
Yes. So yes.
Because it doesn't say the woman helped herself.
So it all does come down to your interpretation of how it's written to get that story.
Absolutely. Which is what I'm here to talk about.
Yes, but I'm just spamming it down that it's to a point in just being in this little box of what I'm saying, no different than any other Christian. No different than any other Christian. You have nothing to prove or whatever to God, nothing in the context or whatever. It's all down to you.
Well, it's all down to me, and what I think is true is I have adopted something and continue to hold it because it continues to work for certain reasons, like the overall context, even the short-term context, like just chapter 12 of Revelation. It continues to work in just that chapter, but it works through the whole text too. The
fact that it's got two definitions in the same story and it flips means that it can't be consistent.
I don't understand.
It's consistent in your story, but the word's definition isn't consistent, and it depends.
How do you like my boat? She's beautiful. Boats don't have sex.
Sure, I've seen them bump up against each other and things go splat.
It's interesting and physically true. But it's a language. It's true pronouns and true gender within language that, like, say in Spanish, all cars are female. Even a big honking truck is female.
I understand what you're trying to say in that context.
So when it talks about Mother Earth and those kinds of ideas, it's calling the Earth feminine because it's like a birther provider.
Oh, I understand that, but it didn't say
there's a
Mother
giant
Earth.
Vagina somewhere on the planet.
It didn't say Mother Earth. They're called the Grand Canyon. It didn't say Mother Earth.
That was cheating, Grand Canyon. What about the Marianas Trench? It's a lot bigger and deeper and more hidden.
Always excited. Very wet.
Woohoo!
Right, moving on.
Oh, and there's crabs living down there.
Oh, fuck me, it's getting worse.
But that was bad. I'm sorry. Lord bless all the little pygmies down in Africa. Please, I apologize to everyone in the whole planet. Okay, so yeah, calling it woman instead of masculine makes sense in the language of the time. And there's nothing wrong with calling the planet she or woman. Nothing wrong with that. So I think it is consistent. And I don't think anything changed
the idea
here.
of Mother Earth is 100% consistent, but the idea that you chopped and changed, and I hate that word phrase.
I'm saying I changed. I didn't.
Definition of woman from the start to the last 30 minutes and maybe put their input in and maybe think of doing it.
That's
anyone
okay
would
me,
like
sure.
to join for the last half.
I don't care if if they're just an argumentative piece of crap person. We'll still talk.
Oh, Sammy, you're
We'll
allowed
see
in
if we
then. So.
So brain sample, come on in.
Well, I insulted Sammy and you insulted Artie, so are we being real? Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
Yes.
chapter break, so we should stop right there. So we have 13 to start on next time. Yeah.
We've only been going for an hour.
Oh no, I love hearing other people's thoughts. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm super selfish. All right. And I want people to like me and I want people to think that I'm smart. But if I'm going to accomplish that, I have to accept correction when it comes. So if you can make me better at what I'm saying by pointing out something that I said that either was or appeared to be inconsistent or just plain stupid, you're improving me and I should embrace that.
Doc Fearsome he's been up 20 hours with an 8-hour work.
Oh wow.
And then doing this. Anyone does.
I think Doc Fearsome's brain moves so fast, and much like you, they have problems like relaxing and sleeping and stuff.
No, well, I'm happy enough to go. I know you were streaming before. Happy to keep going.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
If someone wants to come in, we'll keep going, and if no one wants to come in, we'll wrap it up, and I'll go smoke a cigarette or something.
We can keep going.
Well, what if I want to stop?
Everybody, thanks for coming. See you all later. It's been a lovely show.
I knew you were going. Oh, okay. It's almost getting predictable.
Right.
Got to switch it up, man. Got to switch it up. It's not. Lovely, gorgeous, amazing.
I tried.
There you go.
No, somebody's on the end of the sand of the sea.
Someone's on the end of the sand. Are you talking about the text or the chat? Oh, yeah, Revelation 13. Yes, witnessing the big deal. Yeah. Why didn't you already? I thought you invited people to come in. You did put a link. What are you?
We've got to vote for Richard. What did that say? All took a secret vote. Richard is not allowed to leave. There you are, Richard.
This is a lot like saying there's a Chinese space station on the other side of the moon that we never get to see. I don't believe you.
What about Artemis? What's your thoughts on Artemis? And it's not Artemis.
Artemis is brilliant and bored, and is almost always sarcastic because of it.
Is that why Engine 3 broke and we're going to wait till Friday?
Engine 3 broke and we're going to wait till Friday.
Artemis was
what?
Artemis was supposed to fly out at 8 a.m. Loop of the moon. Sean the sheep was supposed to loop the moon in the rocket. He was supposed to fly around the moon, and you know, it didn't happen.
What the hell are you talking about? I am so confused right now.
There's a rocket, man. NASA is sending a new rocket series to the moon.
There's a rocket called Artemis.
Artemis is a rocket, not the person on your stream right now.
Yes,
I have already been to the moon.
new series of rockets, right? The new series of rockets going to the moon were named after this guy.
That's right.
No, they were not.
They used the female goddess spelling, but they named it after me.
How sweet of them. You must feel very honored.
I would have taken a cake, but you know, what an honor to, you know, have a giant red or metal penis named after you.
That's okay, I guess. Yeah, sure.
It's impressively phallic.
See? Smart and bored. See?
And now on stream.
Smart, bored, and sarcastic. I was right on all three counts.
I have been like this long since before I got bored. This is just an opportunity that came up because I'm medically feeble.
Serious note, Artemis, are you physically disabled somehow?
I am. I'm literally medically retired, but not because of a disability.
Okay.
I have survived 3 heart attacks. That's more in line with why.
My brain was saying something like that. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember what the exact thing was. Yeah.
Okay, so it's official, Richard. We win.
We won. Awesome. Woo!
No. I win. All right, you have to stay in there.
Oh, MathPig won. Woo!
Yeah,
Go MathPig. What'd you
Okay.
win?
So Artie, welcome to A History of Revelations Series 4. Can you see the chat? Can you read the text? Are you ready to be a Christian?
Hang on, let me pull my chat up.
Are you ready to say Shahada?
I can't do. I'm not coordinated enough to use my computer for that. All right, I'm good.
Repeat after me.
Jill is a
I'll
wanker.
guide you through Shahada. I know. Scout finger's great.
I never even made it to Boy Scouts.
Yeah, me neither.
I dropped out as a wee cub.
It was a bunch of women like having us make kites.
Yeah, it was a bunch of weird dudes making
It's
us do
bull
weird
crap.
stuff.
I wanted to like how to learn how to sharpen a knife and kill a raccoon so I could eat in the wilderness.
Yeah,
They
we
wouldn't
spent-
tell us that stuff.
We spent way too much time talking about what it takes to become a good citizen and a man.
Badges and sell your cookies. Oh no, that's Girl Scouts.
Look,
got,
if
like,
men
3
have
of
no
them
right
before
to
I
talk
quit.
about abortion, women have no right to teach Cub Scouts.
Oh, that's a sexist remark if ever I heard one.
Because it's unrelated. It makes no sense.
Why? Because women can't go camping and hunt and kill.
Well, I didn't say they can't. They're just going to suck at it.
Wow. I did that for all the ladies.
Jesus Christ!
Just ask a woman
I did that again for.
Oh my God!
to have them tie a bowline knot. I dare you.
I can think of 3 women off the top of my head that I have camped with that can do all that shit better than I can, and I have camped for decades.
Just because you don't know the difference between a bowline and a granny knot doesn't mean they're good at knots.
Poor
Just
granny.
because I don't know how to tie one as well as 3
Poor
women
granny
doesn't
taught
make
me more about fucking engines and knows more about engines than fucking most men. Like.
Begging the question, your exception does not make the rule. Sorry.
Yeah, and
Women have nimble
your misogynistic statement does not make it true either.
Oh, it is true. I can show you. Like majoritively, it's true.
Sorry, did it again. Sorry.
Fingers keep slipping on the button.
Wait. I figured out what's going on here. Brain sample sarcasm is contagious, and I'm sitting too close to him, and I apologize to everyone deeply.
Oh, we're trying to talk about the fucking Bible here. We're trying to be fucking serious. Yes.
I think women are amazing at what they're amazing at, and there's not much overlap usually between what men are amazing at and what women are amazing at. There just doesn't seem to be a whole bunch of overlap for real.
I don't know much that I'm amazing at.
Well, sarcasm for
I'm
one.
going to say sarcasm. Yeah.
Irony.
Absolutely.
Making love to stuffed giraffes with ties.
See, he's got skills.
I hear he's quite good at fishing, or at least he tells people he's good at fishing. He's got a whole.
Which kind of
outfit now.
fishing? Is it pH fishing or FI fishing?
Sorry, I wasn't actually counting on joining. I didn't properly prepare myself.
We were
No, I
talking
think it's
about how
great
you're
that you
very.
both are just having cigarettes on air right now. When I've been an hour without one and I'm not allowed to smoke indoors. It's amazing. I love this.
It's the beauty of living alone, brother.
Right on.
There you go. Better.
Or owning your own place, I guess. You make the rules.
Right. So, Artie, are you going to join us and give your opinion on? Been in the chat since the start. What is your thoughts? Do you think that Richard has changed the definition of woman? Do you think that this has any legitimacy? And can you scream alien overlords for me?
I think he has a well-established version of what he believes based upon what he's read, and I think he's read extensively. Beyond that, I fail to grasp where most of it comes from or why it leads to the conclusions that you've drawn. But that doesn't. You asked that people see you as an intelligent person. I see you as a very intelligent person. I think you're an honest person.
These
And
are false assumptions. You cannot show this.
You have your new definition for God, where mostly people talk about church being the people and God being the head. Mm-hmm. You call referring to people as God, and then that we can become gods. I love that shit. I mean, I don't believe any of it.
Well, it's more the personification, because God, as Richard would define it, is a group. God would be a different type of constant.
Yeah, it's spirit. It's not physical things. It's ideals.
Jesus is the president.
Material.
Jesus is the president, and God is the Constitution.
Oh, wait. That's so true, because Jesus is the office of president. And people can fill the office of president.
You see
that was rocking, bro.
Oh, no, right. Breeze in camera 3. Hold on. I have to now find camera 3.
Did they not see me?
Not just yet, because this isn't set up for this. Hold on. Keep talking.
Hey, Artie. Hey, Richard. How are you guys? I was just having a good day. I was a Cub Scout.
Did you thrive?
No, I actually quit for the stupidest reason. You want to know why I quit? Because Scout meetings were on Monday nights, and I would miss Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the new episodes.
Good reason as any.
Yeah, I had to get my Will Smith fix. It just wasn't working. I waited out. I'm like, Scouts. I spent my weekends and afternoons in the woods anyway. I spent so much time in the woods, or in the river, or in the creek.
I got bored with all my friends that dropped out. So see ya. My mom wasn't particularly interested in any of it.
Yeah.
Dad was at work all day. Didn't have anything to do with any of it.
Bree, I was a lot like you. When I was 7 through 11 years old, I was fetching creatures from nature back to Mom, who had already studied zoology, and say, "Hey, Mom, what's this one? Mom, what's this one?" And it was like every day for years.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. We had books like North American animals and stuff that we'd catch something. We'd go through the books and find out what it was. Go down to the creek. One time we caught this huge salamander. It was a tiger salamander with black with yellow spots, and it was so big. It was like every bit of 10 inches long, the biggest salamander I've ever seen in the wild.
Oh, wait! Would you know the name of the salamander that's about 10 inches long? It's got dorsal and abdominal frill on its tail, and it's got like elongated globular like
an axolotl, like gills.
Yeah.
So there's like
I could never find the name of it.
Axolotls, like they're actually axolotls are really interesting.
They're really cute.
So it was like
I could describe it as like a muted pinkish red.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's the one. Okay.
That's an axolotl. They come in all kinds of color molds too. You can get them in gold. You can get them in the natural color is kind of a mottled brown, but they're really, really, really endangered in the wild. They're from these lakes in Mexico. They're from these lakes down in Mexico. No, they're thriving in the pet trade. They're too adorable to not thrive. Artemis knows what I'm talking about. He's seen them. Yeah. They got the white, pink, red, gold, kind of a blue color. It's kind of more of a muted blue, though. They got all sorts of wild colors that they come in. It's kind of like what they do with ball pythons, the different color molts and stuff. Now, if you expose a axolotl to iodine, it will mature, because axolotls are expressing what we call neoteny, which means you retain infantile traits into adulthood. Species express it. Different species express, like the way ostrich's feathers are and its bald head and stuff. That's neoteny. Ostrich looks like a giant chick. Anyway, so axolotls retain that from their tadpole-like stage, right? They retain the gills and the flattened tail. But if you expose them to iodine, they will mature into a tiger salamander.
No kidding.
Another species,
So
yeah.
the water has turned the salamanders into tigers.
Yes.
You know what?
There you go.
We need to get somebody on this case.
Well, wait, what form of iodine?
I think it was like purified. It's been done in a lab setting. I know that there's used to be video series on YouTube of people doing it, but it's really inhumane to them. If you want a tiger salamander, you know what you do is you go to the pet store or whatever, and you or online, and you order yourself a tiger salamander. You buy yourself a tiger salamander. You do not force your axolotl to grow into one because they're
Wait,
live.
doesn't that just mean that somebody else forced it?
Well, no,
Yeah, somebody else.
Iodine exists in nature.
What happened?
Well, you're just putting off who's to blame and off yourself. It's still somebody's.
No, they would.
situation
They're
happened.
mature. They're mature adults in their neonatic state.
Okay.
That's the adult state of that species, right? So they don't ever mature past them without chemically altering them. Or you're not. I think you have to inject them in certain places and stuff with it. It's really.
Ooh, that's not nice.
So
Yeah.
how does that happen in nature if that's what's required to do it in a lab?
Exposure
Yeah,
in nature.
it doesn't happen in nature. They don't. They just stay in that
Oh,
state.
so
They're
that-
adults. They reach adulthood, but they retain those characteristics.
So the
gills
tiger
and-
salamander doesn't exist in nature.
The tiger salamander exists in nature, but it doesn't. It's not an axolotl. It goes through a normal salamander development.
If I can we just round that up?
What's going on?
Just finish up your wee story, salamander.
Oh, we're just talking about. They got questions. I want to answer the questions. Richard, ask your
We
question.
were talking about hunting, and now we're talking about evolution, and it's completely not what's going on, and everybody's just jumping ship. It's just,
Oh, am I ruining your audience? No, wait. Your audience loves me. Don't even pretend they don't love listening to me talk about evolution. Don't even pretend, Robbie.
I know, no. I'm just all right. That's
Anyway, you still have the same amount of people in the live chat that you had when I came in.
So there.
Lighten up.
Anyway, let's get back to the Bible though, because there are animals coming up here in these verses, and I want to talk about it, and dragons too.
yes, dragons. Revelations
There's
13.
dragons. And a leopard.
Can we talk about dragon evolution?
Richard, are you going to be the one that stood upon the sand of the sea and let us hear?
I thought we were going to save that for next week.
Riding sonic waves.
Okay.
Is that a Silver Surfer reference?
I want to save it for next week.
Question for Richard. Were amphibians on the ark? What kind are they? Can I try to answer this in my understanding of Matson-ism?
Oh, sure. That'd be fun.
Oh, because I'm familiar with it. I follow Madsonism. I like
okay,
obscure biblical interpretations. We need to talk about the Ethiopian Orthodox Church sometime. They're really out there.
Cool.
But I would say that Richard's idea of what the ark was is more in line with they wouldn't have even been animals. Just the I don't know what you would call it, like the essence of an animal contained within the what's the thing, right? That's kind of like what's behind you.
Yeah.
And the essence of the animals would be contained not in their full-fledged animal form, but just like the essence of each individual. And what the younger creationists would call a kind, but she wouldn't
Right.
use that term. And it is kind of like preordained to seed each iteration of reality existence. Each cycle or whatever is seeded with animal life, and maybe they're a little bit different in each seeding, just a little bit different. And that would explain some of the weird creatures that we see in some of the Old Testament, right?
I think, I love that it works in reality. It's plausible. I love that about it. Okay. But in the reading frame that I've adopted, it goes something like this. The Ark of Gopher, and it doesn't say gopher wood. It says Ark of Gopher. Okay. That means a container of permanent housing. That's what those words mean there. The idea of a gopher is something that like burrows into the dirt. You can't get rid of the damn thing. It's going to be there forever once it's there. So it's the idea of permanent housing. Okay. So in the English, it should read container of permanent housing. In an overall context, there's only one container of permanent housing in the Bible. That's heaven. Okay. So the whole genetic survey and preservation for after the flood, that is the high point of population of the planet, of people on the planet, when we start destroying the planet, and it's not going to get to be more people than that ever. And they during the transitional point or ascension, they take samples of all the animals. Now that's for preservation of the genetics to populate the next Earth, and for genetic survey to see like in what ways we poisoned them, because that can be very individual by what we did to.
So do they take? I just want to. Do they take gametes, or do they take? What is it when they collect? Or
No, live full-grown adults.
Oh yeah.
And when Christians, please don't make the Christian mistake of thinking the children's story is the story. It's not 2 by 2 on the ark. It's a male and its female to pair. That's 4. And a male and his female 7. That's 14. Yeah.
I see the Book of Noah as a love story, and it's about a woman that stays with her husband even though he's clearly lost his mind.
Aw, that's sweet, actually.
But some species don't have just a male and female, or some species just have multiple genotypes within the species that
That's also true.
express, like ants. There's an ant colony. There's like somewhere between. I think it's between. It's always between 3 and like 7 different castes that develop differently and have different hormonal development. And
so it's talking on a medium-sized animal scale that we can understand and see before we ever had the science. And it's not a scientific claim anyway, you know.
Well, I thought that I remembered you saying that it was like the genetic materials or whatever.
Yeah, it's to preserve genetics.
Yeah.
Say like we need a sampling of every kind of ant off the planet, for instance. And you could speak it generally and say male and female. And that's sort of true, but it's a huge generalization. Now, is it true on like scale of mammals? Yes, with exceptions. Grant the exceptions. But is it like generally true in that way? Yeah, it's just saying, look, we're taking samples off the planet.
Yeah, and I would what I would think would be that just taking a if the idea is that this is some overarching entity or cycle, like you're talking about, just getting a genetics, just like even like just each species of animals is getting a little pinprick of a drop of blood of
yeah, that'd be enough, right?
Yeah, or even you could even doing it that way. You'd have so much storage space that you could probably get some genetic diversity of a different species. Even you could get do like a whole cladogram of organisms.
So here's the way I think it works in reality. Heaven is physical. It's a bunch of spaceships. Okay, they have different rooms in the spaceship. Like there's a dinosaur room, where they have the right kind of an environment for all those different cool species of dinosaurs. And then there's like a herd animal and lions room or something like that, where they have all these different stages of the development of this planet that we see in the fossil record, but they're just separated to be preserved for the next planet.
So do you think that like modern birds that we have now are descendant from the dinosaurs, or do you think that that's a group? Okay, so that's something in the dinosaur room. The birds would be in there too then. No,
because that's a different time period.
It's a chronological
the rooms are
order.
Different time periods of the development and evolution of the planet.
When they
It's not like you
when they
just
seed
throw it
a
all
new
in
planet,
together because they just like kill each other and stuff.
yeah. So when they seed a new planet, they pick from the rooms. They pick things that would have existed on this planet at the same time, so they don't fuck with how those animals lived, what they had to
Right.
eat.
I mean, it's not the photon torpedo terraforming. It's like real terraforming.
Do
And you have
they?
to do that in
Hold on,
serious
just-
steps? And
I think my point was more along the lines of the bird question, is that there wouldn't be birds if you're going to put dinosaurs there, because the dinosaurs, in theory, would evolve to be birds, so you can't start with birds. So there's no canids and a bunch of other shit there. All that
Right.
has to come.
Be like tiny therapsids. There wouldn't be any canids. Yeah.
Right.
fair enough.
And there
Yeah,
would, and
something
there,
like
the
that. Yeah.
birds would have been like, well, I mean, if dinosaur era, there would have been like paleo waves and things like that. Maybe
So
with teeth.
do they go to different planets and start with different epochs, where maybe
Is it always in the-
From what I can tell, there's several Earths in process at all times.
And it's always in the same order, the development, or is there?
The order has to be the same because you're terraforming to get something weak and delicate and precious like us to be able to live there.
So every generation has to have the same, or every Earth has to have the same history as far as what animals lived there and what plants died during what period.
And
So we
the
have
original
coal and-
evolutionary process only happened on the original world, which belongs to the Pharaoh or Satan. That's where the evolutionary process naturally happened, and they've got all the bones.
And so we're just living it. Like, this is like a replication then, where they just seed it.
This is a mock-up.
Do they reseed at the end of it, like extinction events, right? Like the KT extinction event, the one that killed the dinosaurs, right? Wiped out the dinosaurs. So they clean them up, and then they seed it after the extinction event. Is that when the new animals are seeded in?
Those are interesting thoughts. Yeah, from what I can tell, what happens is they pick a certain planet and then they manipulate it in a certain way so that it's going to have a certain series of events, right? Like let's say the planet was, when they found it, it was basically Mars, right? And there's nothing really making area distinguishing features, and there's no life there. So bless you, or something, or be well, or something. Anyway, okay, so then they dump a bunch of air, then they dump a bunch of water. That is, let there be refraction of light, let there be land masses, and then animals and plants of their kinds, which were in heaven before. They were owned by them, but they weren't on the planet yet. There was no man to till the earth. And then more modern plants and ancient animals, and then more modern animals, and then this situation we see right here. So it's a very long, arduous, has to be well timed and well performed terraforming process.
It almost sounds like the dinosaur bones and stuff that we find now were just, it's like missed in the cleanup.
No, not left
to work
on
with a guy that would
purpose.
say, "Sure, that makes sense. That tracks."
No, you don't even have to do that.
So, but you said that the actual Earth where animals evolved on, the original, that they had all the bones, right? So
they got all the bones, yeah.
So if they're not doing a cleanup here with our animal life, then why don't we have all the bones?
Because those animals were never here.
I thought you said they were here to terraform.
This is right up the alley of that guy I was just talking about. All of the fossils have been planted.
No, I'm not accusing Richard of saying that. It sounds like he believes the animals lived
Well, no, the
and died
bones
here.
are gone. What's left behind is a mineralized deposit. in the
Right.
shape
Okay,
of a
so
bone.
here's my argument. Permineralization is not something some
Sorry about
intelligence
the
does.
rookie.
It happens by accident. It doesn't like my voice.
They're playing. That's the
Okay.
sound she makes when she plays. I realize it sounds like I'm killing her or she's on fire or something, but
No,
That's-
I'm sure you're just kicking her occasionally.
Yeah.
But
Is it a
anyway,
dog?
yeah, it's
okay.
the little dog is fighting with the big dog, and that's the sound the little dog makes. She doesn't bark, she doesn't growl.
It's
she does
pleasure.
that.
I have
Okay,
a little dog and a big dog.
The little one's 30 pounds. It's not,
not that little. Yeah. Okay, so the entire process happened on Satan's home planet, and then the Jews or slave people, they borrow from their neighbors. That is steal, because you're never going to give the stuff back, right? And then they make their escape, the Exodus, right? And they start doing their own thing once they escape. Well, their own thing is terraforming, right? So they didn't need every single animal to terraform a planet. They needed certain kinds that would perform certain functions to do this. So they stole the stuff that's useful and left the rest. Now, permineralization is a random process where you should get random results. We don't get random results. You could totally see the process happen, and it's entirely two-stepped, and it's entirely too predictable that in every case it's always stepped. So what I think happened is they took what they needed, left the rest, and the reason we don't find certain fossils is because you don't need them.
So your idea on what a ghost lineage is, how an organism can exist and then disappear from the fossil record for
Satan's got those bones,
and then appear more derived later on in the fossil record. You're saying that whoosh, Satan's got the bones, right?
Satan's got them. They're all there. Every what are they called? What are the Christians the bull crap term? The missing links, the what's the term they use to say
kinds,
that?
The Barrowmans?
Transitional fossils. Where are the transitional fossils? They all exist. It absolutely happened just like you think it did. It just happened over there on that other planet.
It happened on another planet. And then we replicate, and then not us, not humans, the Israelites.
Natural processes of evolution,
Space Jews.
Yeah. The Israelites are not humans, though. They're not like us.
What do you mean by Israelites?
The ones that you said they escaped and went to terraform planets.
Oh, you know those. You know them. So you just call them caveman and stuff.
Oh, really?
You know them. You've seen them. We have their bones, some of them.
Are you talking about the
proto-humans
or
yeah, all that. That was the slaves from Satan's planet. And then they did a process, probably the number 2 fusion, that created us in this form, right? We don't see number 2 fusion all over the place. We're weird.
Who did the fusion?
Oh, the scientists.
Alien overlords.
The alien overlords. The Elohim, which are not necessarily good, who own slaves. So they changed it.
They are like alien overlords then, right? I mean,
right, but those folks, okay, here's the reason for the war. They made us. We're literally a product of them monkeying around with monkey DNA. Okay?
Yep.
They did it on purpose, right? Once they were developed enough. Yeah, they got
makes sense. The hair doesn't.
Yeah, right. So they're monkeying around with literal ape DNA to make a better slave, because a monkey's a pretty good slave, but it's not a very good slave. You can do better. So they forced an evolutionary process, and then when they get developed enough, they started monkeying around with genetics, number 2 fusion. That made us in this form. Problem is, we suck as slaves because we object. Next thing you know, we're like rebelling and taking over and leaving and stealing stuff. So they made us, so they think they have a claim, because they literally have a claim to us. But we respect autonomy and individuality and expression and things like that. We value that. They don't. So they think we should still belong to us, but we're like flipping them the bird going, leave me alone, dude.
I was doing that the other day.
We're a disappointing creation, huh?
Yeah, it explains why they're pissed and chasing us.
Failures.
Well, where are we running to?
Or maybe the greatest success ever. Depends on how you look at it.
Well, accidental success is still a failure.
It's still a success. Accidental success is a failure. No, it's not.
So, I want to like circle back to this idea of the human development, but I wanted to talk about the animals really quick. Were the animals custom designed the same way? Is there things in the animal DNA that we can see? Because there's fusions in other species too.
Yeah. I think they were trying to make better slaves. It's just like we naturally keep pack animals and slaves right now. We don't call them slaves, but they are.
Yeah.
We eat them. We have no respect for them. They're stupid as hell. They pull our plows, etc. We make leather out of them. Okay. Which human skin makes good leather too, by the way. So we're still of that mindset. We're still doing that thing. What's that, Brain Sam? What's that?
What's up, Artie?
Artie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Francine.
Say the same thing again, Artie, please.
I already can't because I got lost because I thought you said, what was that, Francine? And I was like, I've never heard of Francine. Who's Francine?
Okay.
He said brain sample.
You'd say it was a good one.
Okay, so let's see if I can go back. Since you can't, I'll see if I can. Okay, so yeah, they were working with stuff, and then apes really worked out to manipulate easy, and we got these things, which is really handy for a worker, because you can like turn stuff like this and do weird things. You can do this. It's amazing.
I assume the same condition is true for crows, that they made lousy slaves because they just flew away and did their own fucking thing. They just fuck off and took off.
Yeah, I have no way to process what you just said. So, I have no way to process what you just said. I just don't even know what that meant. Sorry.
Oh, no. Crows use tools, create tools in order to solve problems. They're torturously intelligent birds.
They have really dexterous beaks too, so they can
and
really
they can hold things. They don't even have a thumb. They have an opposable heel.
So I think all of that's part of an evolutionary process and naturalistic. And you don't have to explain all of it because most of it can be explained just by, well, stuff happens, and this works in that environment, and that's fine. So yeah, I think they started monkeying around with stuff because they came technologically advanced enough to do that.
I see what you did there, monkeying around.
Yeah. Actually, I should say goating around because I think they were highly developed goat-like animal, and that's what developed advanced on that planet fastest.
Is that presumption based in any way upon the kinds of things that they are able to consume and digest?
Well, it also has to do with folklore.
And their ability to climb steep grades.
Well, that too, but it also has to do with the goat human thing, that expression. Pan and all that, and the devil and all that, and the cloven hoof and all that.
You say human thing, and I grew up around Amish. That's a whole different fucking thing.
Terrible joke.
It's true, though.
They don't reproduce,
Well.
So they might do whatever they want physically with the animals, but they don't.
That's why they're forced to inbreed.
Yeah. So. Okay, there's a protein sac on the front of sperm that has an enzyme in it that will attack a protein sac around the outside. So this is a lock and key thing. You don't get to cross that accidentally.
So satyrs and fawns and things like that, these animals or organisms with horns and human and artiodactyl features, they are actually hybrids or folk memories of hybrids that actually existed.
I think they're twisted memories of the actuality that on that planet, what developed fastest and took over and became most evolved and most intelligent was some kind of a herd animal.
So the problem with that is that, and bear with me, that intelligence, our understanding of it and what we've experienced on this planet in our research and stuff is almost always more prevalent in animals that have a high protein diet because it takes
Sure.
a lot of protein to grow a large
Oh, they
brain.
could be omnivores. There's nothing wrong with that animal being an omnivore.
And that's true because when we go back, when we look back in time at bovids, for instance, they have ancestry that were predators. That did.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
So every now and then you'll see a cow or a deer, just like they'll see a little chick walking by, a little bird, little rodent or something like that. They'll just lean over and snatch it up and eat it. They still have that that need, and it's not even. So the cool thing about those is it's not even necessarily for them because that's enough calcium there to sustain, the next generation of whatever offspring. And they'll do that a lot when they're pregnant, when they're carrying them.
Wow.
And what toucans are really, really crazy about it because you don't think of a toucan as an animal that eats other animals at all.
You're right,
And they will, and because they eat fruit and stuff most of the time. And when the female is pregnant, her and her mate will, like you try to keep them in a bird sanctuary or whatever, they'll kill the other birds and eat them so that she has the protein that she needs and the calcium that she needs from their bones to.
That's really interesting. I had no idea.
Thing at the end of
again, you have educated me on something. Thank you so much for that. All right. Well, okay. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised. That makes sense to me. Okay. That's somewhere in the history, the evolution, the development of these herd animals that some of their ancestors, distant cousins, whatever, are omnivores. They're meat eaters and such, and they're hunters. They're not like what we think of. But if you were terraforming an Earth, why the hell would you want that thing here? Like that could cause problems. It's bad enough with the lions and tigers and bears, oh my. You don't want that in like herd animal numbers. That would be bad. Like if lion prides sometimes numbered 500, you can see why that would not be a great thing.
Yeah, I think the biggest one I ever recorded was something in excess of 30, which is still fucking horrifying.
Yeah, that's horrifying. At 30, at 40 of them would be insane. What you really want is really small packs of like 10 or you don't want a herd animal that eats meat here.
Unless the deer can fight back like a bison or a moose.
You know what? I think they did Australia as kind of a joke that they made that harsh environment that is more like the original satanic world. And they did that just to go, yeah, well, you want to look at how bad this could be? Look at this part.
If there's a god, the moose is the result of an angry god.
Robbie's talked me into taking us live on my channel here at 7 my time. Are you guys up for that?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, you can go smoke between that. I'm thinking I want to explore more of this the ideas about the Ark and stuff in your theory. So there are gonna be new people there, so I'll have you start off from the basics.
I'll just follow your leader. Whatever you say goes. It's fine.
Artie, are you up for that? You gonna come hang out? I don't think we're gonna switch which stream we're in here because I can just pull it on my OBS. So we're gonna see how good my signal is too, because this will be my first time on this new internet that I got hooked up here. So. On me?
Yes, on Newbury, but it is there, but it's so tiny.
Yeah, it's you look like pre-cable TV. You're fine.
Pre-cable TV, yeah.
I put the link in the private chat. I'll come over for a wee while as well. Hang about for a wee while. We're going to go to the top of the hour anyway, so.
Okay, be I mad or not, that was a lot of fun. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, let me get it set up though. I want you to be able to go smoke. Do you want me to set it for? How about I set it for a quarter after? That way.
Yeah, that's grand. Whatever suits, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the top.
That way, because if you're gonna go to the top of the hour, I want there to be a kind of a break in between there. I don't want to just jump right into it.
Richard.
Sir.
How's yourself? How you been doing?
Oh, want a cigarette?
I have decided that I'm trying to give them up.
Really? Why?
Yay!
Was my daughter. I have also noticed that I don't be doing. I could walk up and down a mountain, but I probably couldn't outrun a zombie. That to me.
Carrying someone who weighs 80 pounds.
No, I just couldn't outrun a zombie at the minute. You know, don't get me wrong. I bought a new heart monitor, and I have a standard heart rate of about grand.
Okay.
You know, resting and all. And when I'm just walking about work, and I'm doing heavy enough lifting, but it's jumping up to 80 or 90. You know, it's like 86, 87, and smoking is obviously not good for you. I'm not giving up weed, but I'm thinking I've set myself a goal of the 1st of August 2023. That's my want to be able to walk a wee girl down the line. I don't want
Feel chest pain anytime near 40.
I only feel chest pains. I buy cigarettes under the counter over here, and there's a couple of different varieties that you can buy, and there's the fake ones which are called Excellence, and then there's the imported from fucking Gran Canaria ones which are real, you know, just not the best fantastic brand. They're Mayfair. I don't know if you have Mayfair over there. The ones they have over here that are fake are
America, man.
Well, we have Excellence over
The reason
here.
we exist is because of tobacco.
We have Excellence over here, which is an under-the-counter
Beavers.
tobacco. White box, and man, I smoked them once because they were fucking £4, and I thought I was gonna die. Like, I was waking up with heart pains and shit. They're fake figs. Give me the ones from a foreign country, and I'll pay an extra £2. Just give me them instead. They're still cheaper than the ones that are fucking full price, but yeah, cigarettes are not good for you. They're not good for your health.
No.
You know?
I can tell you that every time I've left the hospital after a heart attack, that the first cigarette made me feel like I was actually inhaling death.
My wee girl,
they're that bad for you.
my wee girl
And I
already
still
knows.
fucking smoke.
She's like, I'll never smoke, Daddy. The brown stuff is bad. The green stuff is good. Loves the smell of weed. Every weekend I get a bag of weed. Stuff bad. Green stuff good. Brown stuff bad. Tobacco's bad.
Well, I'm gonna go smoke some of the brown stuff. And none of the green.
Cancer sticks.
I got it completely backward, just like everything else.
So long as it's not supposed to be green and it's brown, you're fine.
All's good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, brown weed sucks. That's just a fact.
See, smart, bored, sarcastic. That's
Richard,
it. That's the whole
Richard,
thing.
is it just before you go? By the time you come back, we may have already left.
Sure, check out Demolished Doctrine and come argue with me. I love you.
I'm gonna have to create a channel called Demolished Doc.
Okay, we'll find out eventually. It'll be fine.
Blow your smoke.
All right.
Don't know if you watch every week, Artie, but there is certain things.
Mhm.
Lava exploding from Yellowstone.
It's very specific.
My doctrine would be, oh no, that's a meteor. You could interpret them both in his. Then there's other things that we would disagree on. So there is technically now two religions running off. True one, as he refers to, and then the heretical one.
Yeah, like I said, I can't get high enough fast enough to keep up.
Say you're in my team. Because at the end of the day, even when my team loses, you know, if Richard's really.
See, he's a stand-up guy either way. He takes care of the ones that take care of him.
Really don't want to do the vape, John. I really don't want to do the vape. And in all honesty, man, I'll bring 2 or 3 cigarettes to me with work for 9 hours. And fucking annoys me, and that's more for the what am I going to do. Give me a baseball bat and a tree. That would probably work too.
It's a horrible thing to do to a tree. Actually, that's if you beat the same level all the way around a tree, you'd kill it no matter how big it is. Well, almost no matter how big it is. Well, not if they're aluminum, I presume. I have an aluminum bat at the front door.
What's
I have a wooden bat at the back door.
What's aluminum?
It's the thing that you guys added an extra I to, so it sounded like you had to give it one more syllable in order to make you sound smart.
Aluminium.
Yeah.
Aluminium.
What's funny is that what I just said is true. Yeah, that's why if you look at your old
here's a
tables,
sand fact for you, seeing as we're talking about that.
you know how much I love
Why
this.
potassium is called potassium.
I remember being taught why it was the letter K. I don't remember.
No, not in an elemental thing. Do you know why the actual word or word potassium?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that you interrupted me right before I said that I don't know where the word itself comes from.
The word potassium comes from the original drawn from potash. You've heard of potash?
Yeah, I spent 25 years as a landscaper. I'm familiar.
Right, so potash was huge in what, like 1910, 1915 or whatever the fuck when they found this out and they were drawing stuff. Potassium was the main element that came.
See? I think we've all learned something today.
In overload. Right.
No, it's always something to be learned when you're literally drawing from a part of the imagination that I don't possess.
Titan, I have the latency at absolute low latency, and I'm uploading at fucking 18 megabits a second here. Right, literally burning ash from burning wood soaked in water. Potash. Bree, have you got a link for us?
Yeah, one sec. In there, dude.
Boy.
So yeah, this Saturday, open hangout as usual. Artie, you coming by this Saturday?
I think so. Yes.
Good
That
blab.
is my intent.
Good blab. I like that. Yeah, because then you can't get. Yeah, no, there he speaks no lies. It is
Well,
definitely.
There's a woman in my life, and our mutual availability is kind of scattered. So I'm going with yes. But like I was supposed to hang out with Peter last night, and she ended up over here instead. So
Yeah, no, that's why we didn't have one on Saturday. A woman.
check you out.
So, Artie.
Yes, sir.
See you Saturday. Bree, you got a link for us?
Yeah, my thing's taking forever to load. I don't know if OBS is gonna be able to run or not.
I
This
believe-
little
I wouldn't say
laptop
you're. I
will
wouldn't
push
say
it.
you're. I wouldn't say you're roboting, but you're choppy.
Yeah, it's more of a.
Perfect. That's exactly what it is.
Got a video of me doing that.
Come on.
Snap my neck hurt for like 3 days after I made that video.
Okay,
There we
well that's
go.
just fucking dead air. Yes, most of the deforestation of Europe was
Alright,
due to
so
the
here's
production
the-
of yeah, what year was that?
Here's the
Titan?
stream. You want to just use this StreamYard?
You want to use this one?
We can just stay in this. Yeah, we can just stay in this one. And
do you don't have? Do you have? I don't think you've mod controls to add.
On your channel?
Yeah, I haven't sent anyone in the invite.
Okay, what I'm saying is that this StreamYard, I can just broadcast that onto my OBS.
Yes, but if someone else joins from yours.
Oh, but you will.
Yes, but I'm only going to hang around for a wee while.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me make my own then. I'd rather do that.
Yeah, it takes 2 seconds.
Figure it out.
Edit, production. I had to teach Wes, the producer, how to add.
You say that like everybody should know how to manipulate it. Like,
No, but why? Bree's sound is a wee bit clippy, Titan. Why would you spend so long making a GIF to try and add it as a GIF? Download a pre-made one and just know what the production is. It would be. It's just went around the city to go through a short place.
yeah, in the United States we call that a bypass.
Aye, you know what a bypass is. Yeah, there you go. 11, was it that? I thought it was earlier than that, man. I thought it was 1800s. Right, there you go. We have a StreamYard's link. So, everybody, thank you very much for coming. We will see you back here next Tuesday for me and Richard. And we will see you on Saturday for the open panels. Sammy's just going, I'm waving bye. We're going to that link, Sammy. We're going to that link. Right, I'll see you all later. Bye.